the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Thursday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell as we're on for a ride as we narrow down exactly 7 days until the start of high school football.
It's exciting times, and it's exciting times indeed, as we have football, volleyball, all kinds of stuff in store for us.
That means that we're 9 days away from the official start of the volleyball season, and one of the most exciting and talked about volleyball programs in the offseason has been Wellsville, and we have Coach Jonathan Stokes from Wellsville joining us to lead off the show. Coach, thank you so much for hopping on today with us.
Thanks for letting me come on.
I mean, Coach, I look at this team and I see pretty much all kinds of players returning that were top stat getters from a year ago. So it must be super exciting times in Wellsville. We already know about the freshman phenom in Presley Stokes, but talk about the team that you have returning this year and how excited you are for it.
I'm very excited. I have Alana Amato coming back, Aubrey Ramsey. I have Stakia Salas coming back, Brooke Hackney, Sam Drysdale. The only thing we're missing was our setters. You know, we lost Emily McNichol and Paige Green, so we had to do a little adjusting and training and getting us some setters that could fill in her shoes. And I think we're going to do pretty good this season. I'm really excited.
And we know setters are super important for a volleyball team. They're your leaders on your court. So what I'm wondering is who is going to be stepping up, not just as your setters, but also as your vocal and emotional leaders for this team going forward.
Well, I have my daughter Presley stepping up as a setter. We'll run a 6-2. I won't take her out of the hitting position. The only thing that does is takes her out of our serve receive, which we have a lot of good serve receivers on our team. I have Bella Poperider, which is a sophomore, and I have Miley Jackson, who's another setter I've been training. Step up as a sophomore also, and they've been doing really well. I mean, these are two girls that don't even play club ball, and they picked it up. They're just talented athletes, so they picked it up really quick. I mean, and, I'm excited. I think we're going to do very, very well this season.
Another thing the whole team seems to have picked up really well is serving in general. 420 aces from a team serving last year. That's an impressive number. I know Presley was in the 90s last year. How much of an emphasis do you guys put on that serving game too, and just making sure you have those good quality serves and able to make up points there?
We focus on being a very, very strict servers. We try to pressure the opponents with our serves. So we want to be very aggressive when we serve. And that's what we focus on a lot in practice, a lot of aggressive serving. We might end up with some serving errors, but the aggressive serving puts us, above everyone else. And that's what our focus is, serving and serve receive.
You guys had a very great tournament run last year, and a lot of these young girls got to experience that, got to realize what the standard is to get to that point. How much do you think that experience is going to help this team this season, knowing exactly what it takes to get to that level of volleyball?
Well, I think that's what kind of maybe shell-shocked our girls last year when we played Monroeville in the regionals. Some of them weren't used to getting that far, but this year we focused on not playing in our own backyard. So we did tournament in New Bremen. That's the top Division 2, 3, 4 teams in the state of Ohio. So we went there to play against them. We might have got knocked around a little bit, but we ended up, at the top with some of the best teams in Ohio. We went to a camp in Girard with Austin Town Fitch, which has a stacked squad. Girard has a stacked squad, so we get to get ready for our tournament play. I don't want to play, like I said, in my own backyard. I want to play against better teams to push us, make us stronger, and get us ready for the tournament. And that's what we did.
Obviously, though, I mean, throughout so many teams that you guys have had, you guys have always been at the tops or near the tops of that EOAC too. Conference play has always been one of the strong suits for Wellsville. What is that like for a coach trying to bring in new teams and get them to understand that culture, that winning tradition, and kind of, I guess, press that reset button once you have to bring in new classes year in and year out?
It's kind of tough sometimes. We don't have big numbers this year. We had a couple girls quit. But we can't slack off. We've got to get these girls ready. So I want everyone to buy into what we're doing. It's going to be tough. We're going to grind. And in our 7th and 8th grade level, they are buying into it. We have one of the biggest classes right now in our 8th grade program. We have like 12 girls out this season. So they'll be coming up to the high school next year. So right now we're pushing them pretty hard right now. So they are ready for with what we're doing up here. So that's what we're doing.
Obviously, you've talked about wanting to play outside of your backyard and expose this team to high-level volleyball, but you still have a conference to take care of, and you still have some quality teams in that EOAC that would love to knock you off and put that target on your back. How do you keep this team focused on the conference games while their sights are being set on, trying to expose themselves to higher-level volleyball as well?
We just push every day at practice. We look at one game at a time, and we're not taking anyone lightly. We're not going to take anyone lightly. We're going to come after everyone. We're going to work hard. We're going to play hard. We're not going to play down. Doesn't matter who we're playing. They have to act like everyone is trying to knock you off the podium. We have big shoes to fill from last year, and these girls have the talent to do it. I think we're going to go pretty far.
You're obviously the coach, but you're also a dad too. So, I mean, looking at a season like we saw last year too, from these freshmen, I mean, how proud does it make you when you see girls like Presley putting up the numbers that she did and all the off-season work that she did too? What does that make you feel as not only a dad, but as a coach too?
I mean, as a dad, I'm super proud. I mean, there's not a moment she doesn't want to be in the gym. There's not a moment she doesn't want to better herself. Like, she plays at the highest level of club ball. She plays National Open, and she drives 3 hours of practice one way. And that just tells me, as a parent, she doesn't complain about it. And as a coach, it just impresses me that this kid wants to, spend 9 hours a day, basically driving down 3 hours practice, 3 hours back, studying in the car, getting straight A's, and getting up the next day and doing it. And it impresses me because she's just hungry. She wants to get better. She wants to compete. She wants to make her teammates better and make herself better. I'm very impressed with her. I mean, I can't say much more. I mean, I'm just very proud of her.
In her early days, did she get you to fall in love with volleyball, or were you the one kind of trying to drive her towards the sport?
No, fortunately, her sisters played volleyball. And her middle sister, she plays at WVU. So, I mean, it's just been competitive. She's always loved volleyball. I call her a gym rat. She's always lived in the gym, always been in the gym and nothing but volleyball.
With having the young team that you did last year, obviously undefeated regular season, I don't think you can really do much better winning wise than a year ago. But what are the talks then with this team about wanting that more, going further in that tournament and not having it end the way it did? What are those kind of talks with the team after experience a tournament for their first time?
What do I talk to them about?
Yeah. What are your talks with the younger players going into year 2, year 3 for some of them now?
Oh, now you got a taste of that. You got to tell, how did that feel? How did that feel we were right there. I mean, literally, we were right there. And how'd that feel? And I mean, all of them, they don't want that feeling anymore. They want the feeling that comes after winning that. They want to go to state. They want to be the regional champs. They want to go on to state. They want that feeling to be at state. And I mean, that's the mentality of practice. Our seniors are pushing them. Aubrey Ramsey, she's so hungry. Alana Amato, hungry. I mean, Stakaya Salas. I mean, these girls want it. This is their senior year. They're pushing our younger girls. Our younger girls see it. And I mean, they're all hungry. They want to go further.
Coaches, as impressive as last season was, we know great coaches still find things to improve on, always find things that they can do better. When you look at last season, you look at going into this season, what kind of things do you want this team to do better over the season than they did last year?
I want to be better blocking. Our blocking has to tighten up. And our serve receive. We did a little adjusting from our scrimmage we had. We've been adjusting our defensive scheme. So that's what we're working on, our defense, our back row defense, picking up, the tip balls, make sure we're staying in the seam. But blocking is a big thing we are focusing on. If we can stop them at the gate, I mean, our game changes right there.
As a coach, you do a lot of teaching too, but as I know, there's a lot of coaches that learn a lot from their players over the years. So I'm just curious, what are some things you've learned about yourself since coaching your players, and some things your players have taught you over the years?
I learned to start listening to them. Sherry yells at me a lot of time, you need to start listening to the girls. You can teach them, but, they can teach you some things too. So same way I approached it last year, this is a team effort. So we can discuss things. If there's some adjustments you want to make, I'm open to listen. I'm not going to dictate the whole time. I'm going to listen, what works best for you and figure out if it works best for all of us. So I listen to them a little more. I still yell at them, but
we know that volleyball takes up a lot of your time, and it has for a lot of your life, and you obviously love the sport. What kind of things do you like to do outside of volleyball to kind of, relax, or what are some of your hobbies outside of the sport?
I spend a lot of time with my dogs. And we go to the creek a lot. We go out to Beaver Creek, and we do a lot of swimming at the creek. Stay in nature, just hang out with my animals, hang out with my daughters and Cherry, and just kick back and relax. And
What kind of dogs? What kind of dogs do you have?
I have Great Danes. I have 2 Great Danes, Pit Bull, a teacup Chihuahua.
You got like the range. You got the Great Dane and the Chihuahua. You went extreme on both sides, Coach. I will say too, you have probably one of the best backgrounds we've gotten from an interview too. It's absolutely beautiful. I know you're excited to fill that gym, and just talking about this Wellsville community too, the community you'll be playing in front of. How important and how influential have they been in the development of this program and the support of the Wellsville Tigers volleyball team?
Our community has been big time behind us. Last year, I mean, they started packing the gym for us. I mean, everyone was into it. Our boosters are the greatest. My AD is the greatest. He gives me room to do whatever I want. He's got my back no matter what. Mr. Breschek's got my back. Like I said, the community is great. They've been, coming out, taking care of us, looking after us, being in the gym, screaming for us, and it fuels our girls, man. I want to start packing this gym. I want everyone to come out and enjoy watching these girls play. They put on a great show, and I appreciate everything Wellsville's done for us.
Coach, before we let you go, I want to give you a chance to highlight your coaching staff and the people in this program from the bottom up that have helped you make it what it is right now.
Well, we have a new 7th and 8th grade coaches. I have Jaden Issom, that'll be with my 7th grade, and Natalie Mathis, that'll be with my 8th grade. They're doing a great job. And then I have, definitely Sherry. She's been with me every step of the way. And Sherry Allen, I mean, she's my better half, and she's everything. I can't function without her. I'm the bad cop. She's the good cop. When I go crazy on the bench, she's like, hey, it's time to calm down. And then I added Kiki Perry to it, an alumni. She's a volunteer this year. and she's been helping us tremendously also.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and giving us a preview of Wellsville volleyball. We appreciate your time. We look forward to covering you all season, and we'll have you on again soon to talk about Wellsville's success over the year.
Definitely. I appreciate everything YSN's been doing for us. You guys have just like opened up volleyball all over the county. I mean, it's awesome. I appreciate everything you guys have done.
You guys are the ones that put the show on for us, though, too. So we thank you as well.
Hey, I appreciate it. You want Presley?
Yep. Well, we're going to go from Coach Stokes to Presley Stokes, and she's going to be joining us now on Running Point. Presley, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
You're welcome.
I mean, Presley, let's just start off with another season as a freshman that we've seen from all sports, but you were really the phenom in volleyball last year, 400-plus kills. Talk about how much work went from your middle school year into that varsity season for you to be able to put up those kind of numbers like that.
It was a lot of work. I play in Columbus, which pushes me a lot to get better, and they work on stuff like that. So, yeah, like practicing up there helps a lot.
Coach just told us how competitive your household can get with your sisters that play volleyball and how much you want to push yourself to do what they were able to do. Talk about the dynamic of your family and how much that kind of pushes you to work hard and succeed.
It pushes me hard because me and my sister Sky like compete to see who could get better. So I always say I'm better than her, and she always says she's better than me. So it pushes me harder.
Describe the feeling last year, too, when you were going through a winning regular season, didn't drop a game in the regular season. As a freshman, to do that, to be on a team like that, be a huge part of a team like that, it's incredibly rare. So what was the feeling like going in game after game, winning the next one, and carrying that undefeated streak all the way into the tournament?
It was fun. It was like entertaining. Like we all worked together, and we just knew that we just had to keep pushing. Even if we were down, we had to keep pushing. If we lost a set, we had to get the next one and just keep moving forward as a team.
What was the hardest thing for you to be in that regional atmosphere? Did you have any nerves? Were there nerves kicking when you played Monroeville?
Yeah, it was. I had a lot of nerves, but when I got on the court, I tried to just shut it all out and just play the game, forget about like the outside stuff.
When talking with Coach, he talked a lot about you stepping into this setter role now for this season. What's gone into that kind of switch over and that shift over to, and what responsibilities are you expected now on this team, going also into your sophomore year?
It's hard just going from only being a hitter to setting, but it's a lot of responsibility because you have to know where to put the ball and know who's producing for the team and where to like set the ball to who's killing the ball and stuff.
What was your biggest challenges when you first had to step into that role and you found out you're gonna be in that setting role this year?
Learning like all the sets, like A's, B's, like knowing where to put the ball because I didn't really know that first.
When you put into work to build relationships with your hitters now and kind of learn where they like to be set and where they want to go, what has that been like to kind of see volleyball from another realm, another kind of perspective as a setter?
I realized that setting's hard, so as a hitter, the sets aren't always going to be perfect, so you have to make do with the set and just better the ball every time.
Have you gotten to know your teammates a little bit better, trying to get to know like what they like to hit and then where they like the ball?
Yeah, we communicate a lot, so it's easier for the setter if we communicate like that.
When talking with your dad too, I mean, he seems like he's been part of this volleyball journey since the beginning too. And I'm just curious, when's your earliest volleyball memory too, and when do you have the earliest memory of being active, a participant in the sport?
I was like 6. I was like watching my sister play, and I always had the volleyball in my hand. I had it like my whole life. Like I always played volleyball. That's like the only sport I played.
When you look at some other sports that obviously all volleyball is all you play, but other sports that you kind of give that side eye to and say, man, I think I could be good at that, or I think I could try that. What kind of sports come to mind?
Um, Probably basketball. I might play basketball this year for school because I feel like it'll help my volleyball season also, getting the extra conditioning, the extra rep.
Was there some advice or maybe a quote your dad would say to you a lot growing up in the sport too that has stuck with you throughout the years?
Probably suck it up. Like if I get hurt, he just tells me to suck it up.
I love
Just
it.
keep
Just
going.
suck it up. Rub some dirt on it. You're fine. I want to get to know you a little bit off the floor too. What are some things that you like to do outside of volleyball? What are some hobbies that you have?
Um, Hang out with friends, my volleyball friends. I really don't do a lot other than volleyball. I go to Columbus and hang out with my friends up there sometimes. I camp with my family. Yeah, that's about it.
You have a big volleyball community. Who's your best friend in volleyball that outside of Wellsville, and where do they play high school?
Um, my best friend is Dylan Hunt. She plays at Pickerington, and she's a right side on my JO team, so we're really close. I consider her to be my best friend in the whole entire world.
I'm curious about the car rides you have to take because it seems like you're in a car a decent amount of time, whether it's visiting friends or even just going to school too. So, do you use these car rides as your advantage too? Is it a time to get focused? What are you utilizing in those car rides to games?
I like listen to music most of the time or go to bed in the car, but it goes fast, so I really can't do much because I'm so used to the car ride, so it feels like nothing.
What's your pregame playlist look like? You said you listen to music. What kind of songs get you hyped up for a game?
Like rap and just rap, I guess.
Do you have one song that can get you like hyped up no matter what the situation is? You put it on and you're ready to go.
Well, um, I don't have one song. I can't pick one song. Just a ton.
Okay, so it's staying on your playlist. Is there one song on your personal playlist that like if it popped up on shuffle with your friends, you'd skip it because you don't want your friends to know that you like that song?
Probably BTS.
The only thing I think I know about BTS is that they had like a McDonald's meal one time and there was some two bomb sauces with it too. And that's what I remember from it too. But that's pretty cool as well. No, I'm curious though about this season. I mean, coach said he's upped the competition level. The competition level is going to be upped in the schedule this year. But I mean, you guys playing JO volleyball, I know you guys are prepared for it. How excited are you to be playing a little bit tougher competition in this schedule this year and knowing that every match non-conference wise, you're going to be grinding it out?
Um, I like having like a difficult match. I don't like having easy matches because I like being pushed, and the easy matches I feel like we just go through the motions, and sometimes we play down when we should be playing to our level and not play down to their level.
All right, with such a competitive family, if there's family game night, who's winning?
Me.
What's
Oh,
the
so
game then? What's the
yeah,
go-to game?
We play 500, like just any card game, and I always win.
always win,
Yeah.
never lose. I love it. That's confidence. That's supreme confidence. Where do you think
That's
where do you think this love for volleyball? I mean, obviously you've had it since an early age. Is there a moment where you really went from just liking the sport to loving it?
I'd say when I started playing at Mintonette, I started loving the sport on a new level. Like, it started to get more serious. Like, I started thinking about college more, and
I mean, with this upcoming season too, I'm just curious about what are the goals personally for you too. Obviously, we heard the team goals from coach, but I'm sure you have some personal goals of your own. What are your personal goals going into this season?
Probably to help my team go farther than we went last year, like go to states this year, hopefully.
Presley, before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to thank your support system, the people that are always there for you, and the people that you know always have your back.
I'd like to thank my sister Sky, my grandparents, my nana, my father, and my friend Dylan Hunt's parents are always there for me, so I'd like to thank them too. And my mom, Sherry.
Presley, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We wish you the best of luck this season. We know we're going to be covering you throughout the year. We can't wait to see what you do, and good luck.
Thank you.
I was going to say, I have a secret suspicion. There's either a teammate or coach behind that camera trying to feed in the
Probably both.
Feed in the things. We're actually going to go to the opponent of Wellsville to lead off this season. We're going
right to take our first break of the day. When we come back, we're going to have Chrissy Hughes, the head coach of Western Reserve Volleyball, the new head coach of Western Reserve Volleyball, joining us. And they are, like you said, they lead off the year with Wellsville. So
it's a great matchup, man. It's a great matchup.
Coincidental lineup of guests today. So we'll be right back on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Why choose local? Because you live here, work here, learn here, relax here, and celebrate here. 21 WFMJ is our family's only locally owned TV station, and our focus is local. Other TV stations don't have that same focus, as their owners are somewhere else. But 21 WFMJ is rooted in the Valley. Local people making decisions that affect your life, right here where you live.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa.
And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing.
Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships.
We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team.
Your goals, our game plan.
Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Change. This one word can make you break out in a cold sweat. But with change comes wisdom, experience, and understanding. At Myers Family Insurance, we can help make changes in Medicare, insurance, and retirement a positive experience for you and your family. We've gone through changes, like our new office and new faces to help our family of clients too.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance. Check us out online at myersfamilyins.com or find us on Facebook.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell. And like we said before the break, we go from one volleyball coach to the other, and they happen to see each other right off the jump from the start of the season. We're going to go to Western Reserve, the new head coach for the Western Reserve Blue Devils, Chrissy Hughes. Coach, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Coach, I mean, this is obviously an exciting team going into this year. I know you're coming in, taking over a program, 22 wins from a year ago, and it looks like you're bringing back a lot of top stat getters. Why don't you shout out the team and some big names we should expect from Western Reserve this year?
Yes, I have 4 seniors that are back in the program. 2 of them are going to be setting. I also have a right side hitter. So my setters are Raylyn Myers and Madison Leone. My right side hitter is Emily Martin, And Alexa Abrams is going to play back row for us this year. So I'm excited for them to start their senior year. They put a lot of time and effort in this program, so it'll be interesting for them. I'm also having 4 return starters coming back. So we have Lisa Eichert, Angelina Capabianca, Allie Jones, and Olivia Hughes.
You know, when we just had Wellsville on, that's a volleyball family with the Stokes, the coaching staff, and the daughter on the team. You know, you got the same thing. You have Olivia on the team and Aaliyah and you know, the family name in Western Reserve, Alexis too. Man, it's been a great run for Western Reserve, and you've been a part of it since Aaliyah back in the day. So what's it not like now taking over the program as a head coach and seeing it from not just the parents' eyes, but the coach's eyes too?
So I've been the junior high coach for probably the last 20 years here. I took a couple of days, years on and off. So it's been super awesome to see these kids start from 7th grade, move up. It's just the hard work of all of these kids year and year, again, to keep the success of this program. I know our family in general, we definitely got involved with JOs. It helps everything. Just touching the ball off season, playing games. And we have quite a few girls on our team. We have a sophomore, actually 2 sophomores that are coming up, going to help us out a lot this year. Daylin Brown, she plays for a travel team, definitely is going to help us out. And we have Abby Blair. She also is playing, so she's going to help us out. And we also have another setter who's a sophomore, Haley Fellows. So that kind of rounds out our team. Again, the hard work that these kids put in is the true success of our program. We've been successful the last many, many years due to all these kids and their hard efforts.
What kind of pressures go into you as a coach to try to uphold that success and put so many kids through it? And I guess what also went into your decision to make that jump to the varsity level now and be the varsity coach?
Yeah, lots of pressure. Coming back, we had a huge season last year. I think we have 6 district champions in our school history. So last year was one of them. So it was a huge, huge success. So that's a lot of pressure. I tell the girls every day, you're the target. You are the target for our league. Everyone wants you. And, we are going to work hard and take one game at a time and do the best we can. But yeah, a lot of pressure on me taking over. I just knew that we needed a coach in this area. I wanted somebody who was going to be in to build the whole program. So thought about it, a little bit difficult coaching, your own kid, but I just feel like, we need somebody in there for the right reasons, trying to build the program from, 3rd grade on up, just to keep the program strong and continuing for many years to come.
And when we talk about your schedule, especially your league, last year, 3 teams were left when we were in district championships out of the MVAC Scarlet tier. It's a very tough conference. When you look at your schedule, especially that MVAC, what are some expectations from the league, and what do you think it's going to take to win it this year?
I think our league is super, super strong. I mean, we have Jackson's always scrappy, coming, moving, playing hard. McDonald, definitely this new program is strong. Springfield, obviously Middle Ridge, definitely. Everyone in our league is going to be a game. Been preaching to the girls here in the 2nd week of mandatory practice. Everyone, it's going to be a point by point. We have to, want to play hard. We want to keep up our reputation. But it's going to be a huge struggle, a lot of fun, a lot of competition. That's what we want. And I feel like it's definitely going to be in our league. Every school is going to be someone to reckon with.
I mean, the non-conference schedule Western Reserve usually puts together strong. We talked to the Wellsville coach. Obviously, you're playing them as one of those non-conference games. How well do you think this schedule as a whole is going to test your girls and get them prepared for another tournament run and hopefully another district championship?
Well, I think week 1 we'll have our battles. We have Wellsville, Middle Ridge, Canfield. We're definitely going to be that week 1. We have 4 games. We also play Waterloo. So that is our huge test. Definitely starting off. I think in the past few years, we've never played Wellsville first. It's always last. So this is definitely a test for us. They, right off the get go, the number one game. So um, it'll be good. We want the competition. We want to, know that we want to keep working. Our ultimate goal is to get to that final games. We also have some goals, of trying to keep that league championship going. But like I said, it's definitely no one's going to be, hey, we got this game. I believe every single game that we have on our schedule is going to be a fight for points.
And you talk about goals, team goals for the season, but how about your goals as a coaching staff for the next week of preparation before you get to game one? It's probably the last straight week that you'll have of practice, because volleyball, you hit the ground running and you're lucky to get maybe 1 day of practice between games with the stretch of the season. So what's the goal for this last week with a couple scrimmages and practice trying to get ready for game one?
Yeah, our goal is to, keep trying to get better. We definitely have some big scrimmages scheduled. We'll be scrimmaging Girard, which is definitely another team in this area that has some. We're going to scrimmage Crestview this Friday. I think they've got to be one of the best teams in this area right now. So we definitely are trying to prepare for those big few games at our first week, having some big scrimmages. This week, we have 2 next week, and I definitely think our girls are getting ready. Consistency is what we need to work on, a little more consistency, but I think that's the game of volleyball. Everyone makes mistakes, otherwise no one could score. And so we are working on consistency and just, all out heart. Our kids have heart. And so sometimes we got to let them believe in going after every ball. And so I've seen that improvement in the past week and a half. We are definitely working and trying to go dive on that ground.
What do you think you bring as a coach to this Western Reserve program that's going to be unique this season?
Well, we're trying to mix in, these girls. Our girls are a great group of girls. They, it's a commitment. It's definitely a huge commitment to play any sport. And as I've seen from the past few years, it's hard for kids to commit. They don't want to give up their time. So I'm super pleased that we are still a strong program. We have girls that want to commit, give up their 1 month of summer to start working, pretty much all summer. So we're trying to mix in a little bit of memories and fun. We've been preparing. We went to the Cedar Point tournament, which I know a few in this area have gone to. I thought that was wonderful. The kids got to play some really different teams. Plus they got some team bonding. So I feel like that's what I want to bring into this team. I want to bring them to, we want to play hard. We want to win. Everyone wants to win. We also want to live some life skills, and we want some memories, and we want to make sure, that we're incorporating all those life skills into this game of volleyball as well. So I feel like that's my strong point. Bringing it in. I have experience. I've been around for a long time. Not too much experience at the varsity level. I coached JO at the varsity level for a few years here and there, 6-7 years. But I definitely have been involved with volleyball since I once played it as an athlete. So I think I have some experience that will help the kids out, as my former coaches helped me.
And you've said it, you've been in volleyball in the area for a while. You've seen a lot of great players come through the area. And now as we look, it seems like the sport is growing more and more every year in talent and how it's spread out, and how our teams in this Youngstown area can compete with the bigger teams when we get to regionals. As a volleyball fan, what's it mean to you to see the growth of the sport in the area?
It is amazing. I mean, like even when we go to these JO tournaments, you see so many area kids, and the kids, going, this is my kid from this school, and just meeting. But you go to those big tournaments and it's like 30, 40, 50, 60 nets of volleyball. And, you think you're good and you go, and then you have kids your same level. They're all 6'4" on the team, that we can compete against and see. So it is amazing how much time and effort these kids work at and how they grow. And, they're willing to put that time and effort in. And it is amazing in this area to see so many strong athletes. so many strong athletes in volleyball.
I mean, I know the personality of these Blue Devils too, and they have quite the personality as well. I want to know what's the goofiest thing your players have done already for you in the time you've been with them.
Oh man, they are goofy for sure. I don't even know if it's goofy, but like we went to Cedar Point and I didn't tell these girls they had to stay together, and they all just we went, they all rode together. They all had these little games in line, playing games, laughing. So that was a joy for me to see. I thought that was really amazing to see how they come together and, just enjoy each other's company. They're trying to find all these cheers. Volleyball is the one sport that after the ball hits the ground, both teams cheer and do something. So the goofiest thing I've seen them do is they're doing some kind of cheerleader cheer, like to get an ace. They put their hands up, do a little cheerleader kick. They think it's hysterical. So they're just fun kids.
You have been, like you said, the junior high coach for a while. What have you taken from coaching that level that you think you can take into coaching adversity?
Definitely, positivity. I feel like, teaching those young 7th graders, that's what I did for most of the time. And the 8th graders, they're so new, so fresh. And so keeping them positive, keeping them interested in that sport. And so I know sometimes it's hard because you try to push them and, get them excited. But I feel like girls especially, they need that positivity. They need to see that they're doing something right. And so then, try to get them to work harder for you. So I feel like coaching those young kids, definitely patience, is going to help me lead this team to some success.
Coach, we also know that the head coach gets a lot of the interviews in the limelight, but we also know that the program itself has always been strong. I want to give you a chance to shout out your assistants and some other big names in the youth volleyball program or just the volleyball program as a whole for Western Reserve.
Yeah, so my assistant is Alexis Hughes, obviously my daughter, so she's definitely there to help us out. She has a lot of experience. She played for YSU 1 year, so she brings a ton of drills for these girls to do, and I appreciate all her help that she does. I have a junior high program. Shannon Shovlin, she's our 8th grade coach. She's been around for about 5 years, so I coach with her the last 4 years down there. So I'm glad to see her come back. And then also Morgan Eichert, she's the 7th grade coach. She definitely is bringing some of her expertise. I believe she coached for Heartland Christian last year. She played volleyball for us at Western Reserve as well. So I love to see these alumni come back and help out these younger kids. I got some upcoming, definitely 5th graders that came to my camp this year that have some talent. I've been to the junior high. They're working on it. I love their efforts. I do have some potentials coming up that I saw at practice last week. So shout out to them again. Kudos to them. We're struggling a little bit with numbers in the middle school area, but I'm so excited to have the kids come out. And hopefully we'll keep building that program down there.
And so you have Alexis on your coaching staff. So I have to ask, Aaliyah, Alexis, Olivia with an AL. Is there a story behind the alliteration, or did you just like roll with it?
I just rolled with it. My husband picked Aaliyah, and we just I think from the Donnie Iris song. And so since that was an A, and then being a teacher, always trying to pick names that I don't have students in my class, so can't really associate for them. So, obviously Olivia, we end up doing an A because we didn't want her to feel left out after we had 2 A's. So we changed it to an A instead of an O. So,
I see Poland doesn't pop up on your schedule, but if it ever did and you were able to coach against Aaliyah, what do you think that would be like?
A little crazy, but we actually are doing a big scrimmage. Krista Nesbitt is my cousin from Canfield. So we have a scrimmage between Poland, Canfield, Western Reserve, and then Mooney's going to show up as well. So it'll be a pretty cool experience seeing us all there coaching at the same time.
You guys just own 224.
Yeah,
wow, the whole
thing. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and giving us a preview of Western Reserve volleyball. We're so excited for this team. We think they're going to be just as good as they always are this year. Excited to cover them and excited to talk to you again as the season goes along.
thank you so much for all you do for our kids. We appreciate all your coverage, and I'm excited too. I hope our girls are excited, and one game at a time. Again, I appreciate all of your efforts that you help cover these kids.
That was Chrissy Hughes, the head coach of the Western Reserve volleyball team, joining us live on Running Point. We obviously thank her for her time and talk about two volleyball families back to back in the Stokes and the Hughes that have just been tremendous, and not just the last 4 years, but the decade.
Talk about a first week matchup too. I mean, for the season, it happens right on Monday too. Monday, 7:00 primetime game. I mean, that's where you need to be, is at Wellsville. It seems like that's going to be a heck of a matchup to kind of start off the volleyball season. And like we said, first season, YSN's going to have an all-star game in the volleyball realm, so we're super excited about that. And this is the kind of game you're going to be looking to, because there's going to be a lot of all-stars on that court.
A lot of all-stars, probably a lot of representation for both those schools when we get to that all-star.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. Both really good programs. They've been there before. Classes of their own, conferences too. Western Reserve, obviously, in that scarlet side of the MVAC, Wellsville and the EOAC, respectively. These two have been at the tops or near the top for a long, long time.
And this Wellsville Western Reserve, it's been a tournament rivalry for a while. The last, there were years where it'd be Western Reserve versus Wellsville, either in a regional semifinal or a district championship in volleyball. Back when they had Danny Vuletic, it was like, hey, who's going to go? Is it going to be Wellsville? Is it going to be Western Reserve? Battle between two area of Division IV powerhouses. And now it's going to be a week one, day one. Well, actually day two, because technically day one's Saturday, but day two of volleyball, prime time, like you said, 7:00 in Wellsville. And you don't have to wait until tournaments to see those two go at it.
I like the fact that both these teams are opting to go at each other in this, rather than kind of avoid each other until the tournament. I'm a big favorite.
You very well see them again in the tournament. Very well.
I believe so. They're still both in Division IV, I believe. I don't think either of them move. Correct us if we're wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're in Division IV.
And when I look at it, it's like, man, the matchups between Western Reserve has really good middles in Capabianca. And then, like Coach Stokes said, they want to get a little bit better on blocking. Blocking middle is something really hard to do. So Western Reserve's going to try to move that middle around, try to put pressure on the Western Reserve block, who, when Presley Stokes is setting, she obviously won't be in the front row to block. So, who's gonna be that blocker for Wellsville? And then, of course, where for Wellsville, they have hitters everywhere. And when Presley Stokes isn't setting, she's a dangerous hitter, to say the least. So how's Western Reserve going to handle that? Olivia Hughes right there with a really strong outside hitter for Western Reserve as well. They have great back row defense. It's going to be a fun time, Wellsville versus Western Reserve, the battle of the Dubs.
Honestly. And you look at the stats that some of these girls have too. I mean, just comparing the stats of both girls. First and foremost, I mean, 321 kills for Olivia Hughes as the top stat getter in that. Also in aces, though, how about this as well? 98 aces last season, just too shy of 100. That's an incredible stat for the season as well. 98 in that regard, and then you look further as well as one of the top dig getters as well, the top one too, 299 digs as well. So a very solid player, all-star worthy. She's coming back junior season. I'm excited to see what she has. She's going to bring to the table, and then of course Wellsville. I mean, you look at what Presley Stokes did a year ago too, and just bringing up her stat line real quick. I mean, she was one of the top, I think, kill getters, right under Abby Householder, 431 kills a season ago.
To be like the realistic, those numbers might go down because she's going to be a setter half the time. So
yeah,
she's going to be giving up some of those numbers to get other people some kills in the setting category. Talk about a team player. Like you have a chance to put up stats that are going to be maybe the best attacker in YSN or the best attacker in the area, but you're going to sacrifice that to go and be a setter for half the rotation and probably give up maybe 50 or 100 kills to make sure that your teammates are getting the ball and that you're setting because you're the best option to set.
She could put up an MVP type season though, because she can get a few hundred kills, few hundred assists, digs of plenty as well. Like she can be one of the best all around players in only her sophomore year.
This is a message to all the other people that make that decision at YSN, all the other executive staff members that go into, trying to decide who's going to win our postseason awards. You gotta have to look past her kill numbers. Like it's going to be assists, kills, digs. You're going to have to look at Presley Stokes' round stats because she might not lead YSN in kills with setting half the rotation. But I'll tell you what, if you add up her kills and assists and digs, it might be a better number than anybody can put up in the YSN family.
You look at the efficiency percentage too, 53.1% kill percentage and a .417 hit percentage. Like an efficient hitter, like efficient amongst some of the best too, and only her freshman year. With all the work she's going to be putting in, that efficiency's, you can imagine, is going to stay relatively the same.
Casual fans of volleyball are going to be saying, well, you can attack as a setter. I've seen setters dump the ball over plenty of time, but remember in a 6-2, that setter's always going to be in the back row. So the only attacks that Presley Stokes will get while she's in the setting position is maybe an out-of-system swing from the back row, but she's got to be behind that 10-foot line when she swings as a setter because she's going to be a back row setter for that 6-2 offense. So got to be behind that 10-foot line, which usually doesn't happen for a set attack unless it's, like I said, out of system in last resort. They, just bump it to Presley Stokes and she can swing. But that's why I'm pretty confident her kill numbers will maybe take a little bit of a dip, which is not that means her assist numbers are going to skyrocket.
From a season ago, yeah, Presley Stokes had a little bit of had an advantage in the kills numbers over Olivia Hughes. Aces 98, like I said, for Hughes, 97 for Stokes. Close battle there, slight edge out for Olivia in that one as well. And Olivia Hughes also edged out Presley Stokes in digs, 299 to 265 as well. But we both know it kind of depends on the team you have too, who's your libero, stuff like that also goes into it. But still, this is a real close battle between these two players, and these are going to be two all-stars that we expect to be shining on that first game.
Yeah, I can't wait. There's a lot of really good matchups in that first week of volleyball. You have the opening day, you have Canfield Girard that Richie Giuliano is going to be able to call. Like it's awesome. That was the last game. That was the last game of the year last season, and it went 5 sets, and it was just a knockdown, drag out. Who's going to be more conditioned? In the end, it was Canfield. That was a great match, and now we're going to get it the first day of the season. Let's go.
Is Girard D2 or D3?
2. Girard is D2.
So there you go. This could be a potential matchup then between Canfield and Girard then in the tournament.
Now you're going to get, the powerhouses of Brie Littell and Lauren Pallone against Canfield's Abby Muckelroy, middle blocker, Parker. Last name just slipped right out of my head. Parker Wilkins from the back row is a libero, 3rd-year libero for Canfield. 3 out of her 4 years as a volleyball starter, she's been a libero for Canfield. She'll be, I think she's one of the best liberos in the area coming back this year. There's a couple of other good ones, but when you're a 3rd-year starter back there as the leader of the back row, that's a really good start. That's a really good piece to have on your team. A lot of people kind of look past a libero on a team because, oh man, it's just that player that wears a different jersey. But really, that player is usually your leader in digs. And if she's not the leader in digs, she's definitely the leader of the back row, making sure everyone's in a good position. And she saves you substitutions because if in volleyball, you are limited to how many substitutions you can make per set. And when you put the libero in and out, you can avoid using those substitutions because the libero can sub in whenever she wants, as long as she stays in the back row, which she has to stay in the back row.
Yeah, and what we see all kinds of different strategies and different sets being used too for these teams, and there's not one way that really defines success. We've seen multiple paths to it.
Well, yeah, because most teams use a libero. Most teams at least have one, but I will say Middle Ridge, who's been a pretty successful program for the last several years, they've had a libero on the roster, but you'll watch those games, and Coach Lesko didn't really utilize a libero. He kind of kept his his hitters in the back row. He trusted their defense, and they were really good defenders. That's why Middle Ridge has a really good program. But he really didn't utilize a libero too much. He had one on the roster. He had one on the bench that he could go to, but he made the tactical decision to not utilize a libero that much in the last couple of years. Might be different this year. Who knows? Every team's different, and that's why you evaluate, do I need a libero this year? Do I need that back row defense? Do I have hitters that can still go back and play strong defense in the back row? But when you look at it, Middle Ridge is one of those teams in the past that has not utilized the libero.
It's what Coach Young said from JFK too. You got to use what you got. I mean, you fit the system to what you got and your kids too, talent wise, and you just try to fit it in that way as well. So I know too, we talk about Mineral Ridge volleyball, but we're going to be having Mineral Ridge football on as Coach Brian Shaner is going to be popping on. But did you want to take a break before we get into Brian Shaner at 1 o'clock?
Yes. Let's take a break. And when we get back, we'll talk to Brian Shaner, the head coach of Mineral Ridge football on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Jimmy Sutton here, director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
How lucky are we to have not one, but two 18-hole Donald Ross Championship golf courses right here in our backyards. Mill Creek Golf Course was selected by Golf Week as one of America's 30 best municipal courses, continuing to challenge golfers of all levels and featuring PGA professionals, golf instruction, a players' rewards club, kids programs, and a pro shop and grill room for a memorable golf experience. Call or click to schedule your tee time at Mill Creek Golf Course.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, we offer a worry-free experience for all our customers. From sales to financing and even service, we'll help build your perfect vehicle
and lock in your trade value
while your vehicle is being built.
No worries.
We guarantee financing,
regardless of your situation or credit history.
No worries. And when your vehicle needs service,
our award-winning team will get you back on the road.
No worries.
That's what going the extra mile means. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Now is the time to think about your future, where you want to go, what you want to be. Your future can start now at Kent State Salem or Kent State East Liverpool. We have programs that will open doors and provide opportunities for you to pursue your passion. We are affordable, we are close. You call it hometown, we call it Kent State University. Learn more at www.kent.edu/Columbiana. You belong here.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
We are Kent State in the Valley. Start and finish one of more than 25 bachelor's or associate degree programs, or start one of Kent State's 280 majors. With low tuition, public, and plenty of scholarship opportunities, we will help you maximize your education and minimize student debt. Enjoy the benefits of a smaller campus with all the opportunities of a large university. Save money, stay close to home. Apply today by visiting kent.edu/Trumbull.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience, WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit WRSwealth.com. Good luck, athletes!
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the four words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell. And here we are with head coach of Middle Ridge football, Brian Shaner, joining us live. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Oh, absolutely. Wouldn't miss it, man. Anything I can do to help you guys for what you do for football, we're always all in.
I mean, Coach, you guys had a solid team last year. I think grabbed 4 wins as a team. But it's going to be life without some key positions, the seniority filling those key positions. I know quarterback being namely one of them, too. What's the team looking like? What are some big names to watch out for in this Rams program this year?
Yeah, right now, just like everyone else, you're kind of filling it out. We have to find a way to take, fill that quarterback spot for Mark Bunch, who did a great job for us for 2 years. Right now, Tristan Valley's holding down that role. He's doing a real good job for us. And, he's blessed with some skilled guys around him. Mason Miller's having a great camp. Ian Erb, the Rossi brothers, Pemberton. We got some guys out there that are very special and skilled. Then, we can get a little bit big in the backfield with Jacob Russell and Nathan Rohrman if we have to. So those are some of our skill guys on offense that we're really excited about.
We know football, though, is won and lost in the trenches. How much work has your offense and defensive line put in this offseason to get stronger, get bigger, and really be able to push people on the line of scrimmage?
Well, that's where it comes down to, especially in high school football. If you're healthy up front and you got them guys that can push people around, you give yourself a chance to be successful. And having Giovanni Gilbert up front and Ben Collins back, those 2 guys are our anchors. And, Zach Stacy's going to be a 3-year starter for us at center. Jordan Moore is going to be a 2-year starter for us. And we're trying to find that 5th guy to round out our starting line. And, the competition's really good there right now. I couldn't name our 5th starter for sure, but we got some guys that are hungry for it. And once we find that 5th guy, I really have good feelings about our offensive line. I think it's going to be steady. And again, Valley has to make them better. He has to get us in right situations, and we just have to execute to take a little bit of pressure off the young guy that we're going to play up there. But I like that group. We have some veterans up there. They just got to get it done for us.
What are some key things you look for in players that want to get snaps or increase their snap count, how many they get throughout a season? What are some key things you look into players that can get starts and more snaps?
Effort. They got to show up every day willing to play, whether it's scout team, whether it's special teams. We got to get guys that want to be there, that want to be good teammates, and just give us effort. Show up every day ready to work. Don't be selfish. Do what's best for the team. And again, that's kind of what we've been preaching all summer. It's about our football team. It's about no individuals, because if you have individuals, it turns into a cancer throughout our locker room, and we just can't do that. As a coaching staff and as a football team, we have to be there for the team and do what's best for the team. And again, we preach it every day. Be a great teammate. Show up, give us great effort, get better every day. And whenever your number's called, no matter where it is, in the trenches, as a skill guy, be a great teammate and do it the best of your ability.
You as a coaching staff ask these players to make sacrifices of their time, put in all this hard work. And I think what goes unnoticed by the public is what sacrifices coaches make and what time they put in. Can you kind of put into words on the time that you put in during a season and the sacrifices maybe you make to be a head coach?
It's a lot of time. I think if you ask any coach, no one's in it for the money, because there isn't a whole lot of money in high school football. It's for the love of the game. And the sacrifices we make away from our families is well worth it. My loved ones at home know that when I go to work every day at football, it's a true love. It's an extended family in Mineral Ridge and our team. But there are sacrifices. For an example, I know my daughter's getting ready to leave for Athens here in 2 days, and we chose to have a night practice last night instead of staying home at dinner with her. We fired up the lights and we were with our boys last night, and the entire family was there. It's just one of those things you do. You do it for the love of the game. You do it for these young men, and you teach it. It's a life lesson, and it was taught last night to our boys.
Now, you guys open up with 3 non-conference games, Pie Valley, Orange, and Newton Falls, I believe, too. What's it going to take, and what are some key things you're going to be needing to do to come out of that 3-game stretch non-conference on top?
Well, again, effort. Our boys have to show up each and every game ready to play. They can't look ahead. It's everything we've done has been for Pie Valley. Big physical team. Last year they got us at our place, and all off season, that's what our boys wanted. They wanted that score posted all over the locker room, all over the weight room, and we did it. They want that game really bad. So those other 2, we're going to kind of wait to talk about Orange and Newton Falls. It's all about Pie Valley. We have to be 1-0. We have a very difficult and physical scrimmage scheduled tonight versus Valley. We'll know where we are when we come out of that scrimmage. Coach Hake has a great football team over there, and it's a tough matchup for us because of their athletes and how aggressive they are. But we'll know more about our team and get out of that one hopefully healthy, and then travel up to Pie Valley and do our best to be 1-0.
When you look at this conference, the MVAC Scarlet Tier, it's a great conference. It's always been a great football conference, a lot of prestigious programs in there. What's it like playing in this conference, and what do you think it would take for Mineral Ridge to come out on top of the MVAC this year?
I think the word's parity. I think the gap's closing a little bit. Springfield's still that top dog. They're still, the ones that you have to chase. They've had a great run, and what a program. And that's kind of what you model yourself after. I think when you look at their longevity and what they've been able to do, that's what we want to be. And for us, I still refer to it as the big 3, and now you got to throw the big 4. Lowville with that offense, they're incredible. That quarterback and number 3 at wide receiver, actually the whole supporting cast is really talented. McDonald is McDonald, and reserve is reserve. They've always done it. When they step on the field, they expect to win, and that's something we're trying to do here. We've tried to incorporate that kind of mentality. When we step on the field, we're going to compete against everyone and expect to win.
So going from last season to this season, what are some improvements you want to see from the returners that you have now, and to try to get better in that sense?
Well, what we've seen is leadership. Our seniors have really stepped up and done a great job leading by example. They're every day working hard. Again, being a great teammate, trying to pick those up that get down a little bit, and not focusing on anything negative, just focusing on what's at hand right now, moving forward. And again, these guys that are back, they understand that this year has to be different. We're heading into our 4th year. We're changing the culture. We're changing the mentality of our entire program. And this year we have to make a statement. We have to go out and have a winning record, be more competitive in the league, especially with those top dogs, and make our statement. That again, as a staff, we said this has to be our year.
Coach, if I asked a player that graduated from your program what they took away from being a Mineral Ridge Ram, or what they took away from being under you and your coaching staff, what would you hope their answer would be for that?
That he coached me hard every day because he cared about me. I do it. They know when we step on that field, I'm a different person I am in our coach's office or in our locker room. But especially Mark Bunch, if you grabbed our quarterback and asked him anything about me, he says he coached me every day very, very hard. But it was because he cared about me. And he always wanted me to be my best, not only on the football field, but in life.
In talking about that, Coach, who kind of helped mold and shape you as a coach? What's some, advice or some coaches that you would watch and you kind of modeled yourself after?
I can tell you I had numerous closed-door conversations with Phil Anarella, as well as phone calls with Tom McDaniel. I'd say those 2 guys really helped me and helped guide me with some major decisions in coaching and philosophies and how to carry yourself. In the city of Youngstown, Pete Limber was a big part of it, a quiet kind of role model and mentor. And, those guys have always been there. And, in our coaching community in the area, you can name any coach that's around, because I think any one of them you could sit down with and really talk philosophies and talk how they approach the game. And you could be mentored by anybody. I'll tell you, Randy Clark over at Brookfield, just sitting and talking with him, you see a different person, and you kind of take something away from it. So, Chet Allen's on my staff. He was a head coach at Liberty for years, and being able to hang out with him and seeing some things he did that were successful and trying to pull some of those things, it's also, that way. Nick Wagner's on staff. He was a head coach at Champion. He did things there. It's just everybody, really. I want to say a hodgepodge of our coaches. We have a really strong, close-knit group of guys that at any time I think you could reach out and be mentored by any one of them. It don't matter. I don't even think it matters how long they've been in a game. People do things different, but they do it really good.
In the same line of questioning, when you were back trying to decide if you wanted to go into coaching or not, or trying to make that decision, what were some things that drew you to the coaching job and drew you to want to be a coach at this level and want to be a coach for football?
Just watching these young men work. I mean, it's like being in education. Why do you go in education? You want to be around and you want to help young kids. You want to help mentor them. You want to show them that there's a way to be success, because, a lot of student athletes right nowadays, they don't really know it. I mean, when we're coming through these last 3 years, there's not a whole lot of positive out there. And I think that's one thing that I always hang my hat on is I find a way to relate to our young men, my students in the classroom, and show them that there's always a positive. When you turn on the news, there's a lot of negative, but you have to find a positive in your life, and you have to find it and just stay the course, and you can be successful.
Coach, and looking at that too, I mean, for this upcoming season, we obviously are going to wish you the best of luck, but I also want to get into your staff a little bit as well, because we know the head coaches can't do it themselves. You mentioned your staff a little bit, but I want to give you the chance to put that spotlight on them and shout out the other big names in this program.
I tell you what, I got a great coaching staff, just not on the football field, but in our coach's office. Very loyal, and that was my number one thing. When you go through kind of a turnover in staff, you got to have loyalty. DJ Williamson, track star, football star from Warren Harding, has been with me now in our 4th year. Loyal, great job, DB, wide receiver. I mentioned Coach Wagner. He's our special teams coordinator. Chet's running the defense. Michael Calderon has been with me for years, whether it was in Niles or here at Ridge. He's like a master of all of it. He does everything for me. O-line, D-line, running backs, wherever I need them, linebackers. And then we have new guys, Rob Riley, who helps us tremendously in the weight room, and anywhere I need him on the field. TJ Kanowski, same thing. A couple new guys that came on helping out with the D line. And Michael Gordon, a young up and coming coach. This is a guy I think that if he hangs around long enough and stays in education, he's going to realize this is a pretty good gig. You can go to work and you can teach young people all day long, and then you show up at football, and then you get to coach them a little bit longer. So it's a great field to get into, and I love it, and hopefully he enjoys being around us and feeds off some of us veterans, and turns it into a career for him.
All right, got to talk about this background, because I think you have one of the best backdrops we've had from a coach's interview. Obviously, you're a big Michael Jordan fan.
Yeah, these people that try to tell me he's not the GOAT, I don't understand.
Did you fall in love with Michael from an early age, and how much of an influence did he have in this sports career and your philosophy in sports?
Well, I don't know if I can take anything from Michael Jordan just because he's so great, and to model after him, maybe just work ethic. I followed him at North Carolina. I knew his background, and I knew his story, and I followed him all the way through, no matter what, whether it was the mistake of trying baseball or coming back and winning championships. His ESPN story through COVID really helped get it through, because it was something to look forward to and really watch him and the way he approached the game. And I just don't know if today's day and age does it like him. You know what I mean? He played in an age of defense, and I don't know. I'm so biased, but again, his work ethic and the way he showed up every day to compete, that it's kind of what we try to tell our guys: show up with effort and compete each and every day. But again, I don't think there's anyone that competes like he did.
Coach, we think that Middle Ridge is going to compete very hard this year. We are excited to cover them all season. Thank you so much for your time to come in and give us a good preview of the football team and what to expect. We look forward, like I said, to covering them all year, and we look forward to having you on again as the season goes on.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
That was Brian Shaner, the head coach of Middle Ridge football, joining us live on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Yeah, it's a great way to round out the interviews for the day too. Few volleyball, got a player profile in there. You get a little bit of a football preview too. And second year in a row, Brian Shaner has come on for us as well. And I think 4 and 5 last year. I think played a 9-game schedule. Did Mineral Ridge, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a team too where you lose some key pieces, but hey, you bring back some key pieces too. So it's just filling holes. Who's going to step up? And like you said, effort's going to be the big word to kind of circle in this. Who's going to put in the effort to take these spots and fill these holes in the Rams program? But they were competitive last year. They look to be competitive again this year.
I think the big thing about Middle Ridge football and what's going to be the difference between success and not success for their program this year, can they buy into a winning culture? Like you said, there are teams in this MVAC Scarlet tier that just step on the field and expect to win because that's what their culture has been set at. Western Reserve, McDonald, Springfield, they have traditional programs that when their kids, no matter who's on the team, when they step on the field, because of their program success in the past, they just expect to win the game. So can you build that, buy into that, and have that winning culture as a Middle Ridge football player? And just every time you go on the field, you step on and say, we are going to win this game. Not we're going to try to win this game or we hope to win this game. I know it sounds crazy from a weird, it's counterintuitive, but in sports, hope is kind of holds you back, right? Because hope means that there's a possibility that you'll fail. So don't hope to win. You don't hope to win. You just go out and you expect to win, right? So don't hope to win. Don't try to win. You have to step on that field and you say, we are going to win this game. And that's a difference in mindset, difference in culture for the program. So it's going to be fun to see if Middle Ridge can keep building that winning culture. Like you said, very competitive last year, right in the middle of the pack, 4 and 5, right there. Can they take the next step and become a winning team and a winning culture?
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be huge for them. Open up the season at Pie Valley, home versus Orange, at Newton Falls, at McDonald, home versus Springfield, home versus Western Reserve, at Jackson Milton, at Sebring, home versus Lowville, and at Waterloo to round out their season. Obviously they go 3 games non-conference, 7-2 the conference. But like Coach said, the ones you're circling, Western Reserve, Springfield, McDonald, they got them in a row. Those are their first 3 conference games to start the season too.
Remind me again, because I missed it when you rattled it off. Which ones are home?
The home matchups for them, they have a non-conference home matchup against Orange. They only have 4 matchups, I think. Home against Springfield and home against Western Reserve. That's September 16th and September 23rd. And then their last home game is October 14th against Lowville. So they're home against that big 3 of the big 4 schools.
I know. 3 of the big 4 you're home against. So that's going for Middle Ridge. They're going to have Lowville, Springfield, McDonald all at home. And that's a beautiful facility in Middle Ridge. But Ty, back to the point of a winning culture and what that's going to take for Middle Ridge. And the reality is you can coach as well as you want, but at the end of the day, you can't force kids to have that winning mentality. Like you can't coach it. They're either going to get it or they don't. They're either going to buy into it or they don't. And it's on the student athletes at that point to have that winning culture. You can put them in the best spot to win, get them ready, get them prepared. But at the end of the day, the winning mindset and winning culture of a program comes down to the players in the locker room and how good your leaders are at letting the rest of the team buy into what they're trying to sell, everything like that. Like you look at all the winning cultures in sports in our area. Yes, they have great head coaches. That's a great start. But you also look at the leaders that have come through those programs and how they kind of built that winning culture with inside the locker room. That's something that I think a lot of people kind of miss. Like you can have a really good winning coach, and that's a really good, really important to sustain success. But you got to have leaders in the locker room that help student athletes buy into a winning mindset and a winning culture.
Yeah, absolutely. And it also helps too when you're able to produce on the field too. It kind of convinces a little bit easier to players.
Sometimes when you get the results that make you realize that the result, like the ends are just the the means are justifying the ends, right? The results are coming. So sometimes when you get that win, it's easier to buy into that winning mindset. But like a last year, a 4-5, you have to come after that 4-5 season, not the winningest season in the world, but you have to know, like, okay, 4-5 is good enough that we can go on the field expecting to win those 5 games that we lost. Because I'll bet that most of those losses weren't games that they look on tape and say we didn't have opportunities to win at some point in the game. Like, there weren't any games last year for Middle Ridge, I don't believe, where they were just flat out just not in it ever.
Yeah, outside of maybe like your Springfield games,
Right.
but Springfield did that to everyone. No, they lost 21-14 against McDonald last year. They lost 28-0 to Western Reserve and a 56-28 game against Lowville. Lowville's one of those teams, though. I mean, still putting up 28 against the Rockets. You just let them get away offensively, too. They probably found some holes defense. I mean,
but in a
Western Reserve is one of those
56-28 game, that means it wasn't 56-0 and then you scored 28 points.
No.
You had moments in the game where you could have probably changed the tide.
28-0 against Western Reserve. I mean, that's just one of those anomalies where Western Reserve's defense will do that to you sometimes. It's not your best day offense. We don't know what the rain situation was like, too, and that could have definitely hindered Mark Bunch as well as the quarterback. But yeah, that 21-14 loss to McDonald, that's definitely a game I think a lot of people are going to look at and point at and say, like, that's one we can turn over. That's one of the big 4 schools that we can turn this around and get a win against, too.
And that happens to be the one out of the big 4 that they're playing on the road.
Yeah, that is the one that you're playing on the road. And McDonald, always a tough team to play at home.
Yeah, they have a brand new field at McDonald that they were proud to kind of debut last year. So McDonald's going to be a tough team to beat at home. That's for sure.
It's going to be a fun year, though, for football, too. And I'm excited to see if any of these teams try to step to Springfield's throne in that MVAC Scarlet.
I think a lot of people are going to be looking at Lowville and say they're the team that can do it. But this MVAC Scarlet field is deep. And I think Springfield kind of made it seem like it wasn't because of the level that Springfield was at the last 3 years. And what they did to every team in the conference in the last 3 years made it kind of feel like the MVAC Scarlet tier wasn't, that great. But you look at all the games that happened outside of everyone versus Springfield, very parity-driven conference, very competitive conference, and it's going to be a tough one to kind of what team is going to be that team, because Lowville has a couple of games where they were a little bit competitive. They almost got upset, so Lowville isn't head and shoulders above everybody. So it's going to be interesting to see who's that next team that really does give Springfield a battle for that conference championship.
Yeah, because until someone knocks them off, I mean, I think it's Springfield that you have to go in favoring this season still.
There's no doubt. You go in saying Springfield is the favorite in the MVAC out of nothing, if nothing else, than out of just a respect of what they've done the last 3 years. It'd be silly to go into a season where Springfield has dominated,
until they drop they're not the game, I'm not gonna buy into it. So until they lose a conference game, which they haven't done in a few years now, until they drop a conference game, I'm not buying into it.
Ty, you remember last year when they lost to South Range, they almost lost to Brookfield. We go into week 3, and I feel like everyone is starting to hit the panic button. Like everyone, football fans, and saying, okay, maybe this is Springfield's year where they don't win the MVAC. And I think you were the one that said, hold on, timeout. And then they kind of proved it by figuring things out week 3 against Geneva, and it was downhill battle from there.
That was pretty much the fringe week for me. I said, if they drop this game big, I mean, then we could start worrying about the Springfield Tigers. But they won that week in mightily convincing fashion too, and they didn't look back from that one undefeated in the conference again. So, like I said, until the Tigers drop a conference game, I'm not buying into anyone but Springfield taking this conference again.
You know what's crazy too? You can, like, let's say you're a team and you beat Springfield, you still have to go through the rest of those teams and not lose. Like, wouldn't it be just so deflating if you like Springfield had one league loss and you're the one that beat them, but because you slipped up and lost to McDonald, the Western Reserve, maybe if you're Lowville, you're sitting there like you still didn't win the conference.
It's not an easy conference to go undefeated in. It's not. Coach talk about those 4 teams, but like for Springfield for the last 3-4 years now, to beat McDonald, Western Reserve, Lowville now becoming a factor, but even Jackson Milton had some solid squads that were mixed in there as well too. Like, you still have to beat these teams every single year, and Springfield's been able to do it and do it in convincing fashion season after season until someone, like I said, knocks them off. But if they do drop a conference game now it's going to be madness, because now I feel like it's up in the air for a bunch of teams to try to take it then.
Right, and we'll just have to wait and see.
I can't wait for it, man. Week 1 can't get here soon enough. We're already this is the Thursday, week from today is we're going to be opening
7 days, right?
Yep. Yes, sir. 7 days from today.
Not only will it be the start of the YSN football coverage, Friday will be the start of Audible Call with Mike Ackelson. We'll have YSN Primetime on Thursday to get you ready for the week like we did last year, a Thursday night primetime from the premier game on YSN every week. So look forward to that. Audible Call, the game coverage. We'll have every game covered on Thursday and Friday. A lot of games on the slate. Yesterday, Power Hour was the one that kind of went through the week 1 matchups and who's playing who and what announcers are going to be on the call for each game. And one of the ones that really stood out to me, and it stood out to DJ and Richie too, Ian O'Brien and Noah Ricks are going to be together on a call. Howland versus Niles, week 1.
That'll be a fun one too, to get those two together.
Those are two hyper play-by-play guys together in one booth. And Noah's going to be the homer for Howland. So Ian's going to have to take the Nile side of things. Try to even it out. But, if that game kind of gets out of hand or something, it's one of them's going to have to take over the broadcast. And it's going to be hard to take over a broadcast with those two voices in the booth.
Yeah, that's going to be it's going to be interesting to see what happens in that sense. But both great.
On the Power Hour, they were trying to decide who would win in the fight, Ian O'Brien or Noah Ricks. I don't know who I have. You've seen them both.
I've seen them both. I don't know. Wait.
Like, Noah has the size. Noah has the height and he has the size. But I don't know. Like, Ian has been putting in some work in the weight room the last 6 months. Like, I see his Instagram and his Snapchat. He's like, well, okay, you're starting to kind of get some muscle mass on.
Yeah, like Mayweather Pacquiao over here.
And he's like, he's a young style boy, so he's going to be scrappy as all get out. You're not going to take the fight out of him. So I feel like Ian O'Brien has a chance in that fight. Not saying they're going to fight, but I'm saying if it were to happen, I don't know. Like, who do got?
Put him in the octagon.
Let's go. YSN UFC. There's been a long string, for years. We've picked YSN, personalities and said let's have them fight. I think it's because DJ is a big wrestling fan, so obviously that comes to it. And then we have a lot of wrestling fans in the office. So, but there's always every year there's one matchup that everyone wants to see. Like, ooh, who would win a fight between these two? And I guess this year it's Ian and Noah.
Yeah, it was Quinn and me a couple of times.
Right, I remember that. One time it was me and Scotty.
You and Scotty, bumper chairs. Scotty could put a turbo on his chair that would really mess you up. I think we had that conversation before.
I always tell Scotty, I can get out of the chair.
Yeah. You just leave the chair. You distract him with the chair and you come at him from the other side.
I do the tuck and roll thing as I'm speeding towards him and just jump out of the chair at the last minute like we're playing the game.
That's the strategy to beating Scotty.
But, hey, what else is this year? Who you got? Ian versus Noah.
If you're gonna give Ian the edge, I've never done a game with Ian. I've never called a game with Ian. I have called a game with Noah, and for that sure fact, I'm gonna rep my boy Noah too, because he definitely he did a great job too in the game that he called too. He always does a great job. Very professional announcer too, as far as what he does research wise. Very knowledgeable about sports.
You know what? I'll split this for the heck of split because we always like to split. I'll take Ian, and I'll throw some love.
You were talking about beefing up. I gotta back on Noah. Then I can't just leave Noah hanging out there.
So not all of our announcers are great friends. They never fight each other. But if it were to happen,
you'll
put them in the octagon.
You're gonna hear a lot of the voices of YSN here in just a few days too. Next week, this time it all starts and we go right into that first football week, and a lot of YSN voices will be on full display. The madness begins, and
not just familiar voices, but tomorrow, we're going to have our YSN Academy for all the new voices that want to join our team, and you're going to hear some new voices on YSN as well. Some exciting members that are coming on board to try to make our team even better. So all your familiar faces and familiar voices that you love hearing on Friday nights are going to be there, but you're going to hear some new voices as well, which we are very, very excited about. Our YSN Academy coming up tomorrow for all the new prospects of people that want to join the team.
We're definitely excited about it too, and we're excited to meet the new faces and new voices of some of these schools and some of these teams.
All right, Ty, let's take our last break of the day, come back, and we'll truck through the last minutes of this show on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Reliability, innovation, scale. These three values are those we look forward to in our business and in our team. If you're ready for a reliable employer who looks constantly to think outside the box in big ways, we're ready for you. Apply now. Help us push the envelope and deliver success. Envelope 1. Take that one extra step.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
It's a new year at Acura of Boardman and Boardman Mitsubishi with huge savings on over 350 fully inspected vehicles. We have cars, trucks, SUVs, minivans, and work vehicles. We don't have it, our team will find it. We aim for 100% credit approval with payments as low as $99 per month. And as always, we'll pay top dollar for your trade. For a great vehicle and a great experience, come see why everyone is stopping by at Acura Boardman and Boardman Mitsubishi.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education, and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
You know, being able to have success on the football field and the basketball court and just every aspect of, my sports career is now documented. One of the greatest things about high school sports is to be able to talk about it for the rest of your life and to look back on the days with my buddies whenever we had some battles, whether it was with, our rival or just another game. And I could go back and look at it and, not only myself, but my family members, my teammates, and it's something that will last a lifetime. My name is Parker Sherry, and my sports network is your sports network.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air,
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
As fine as the eye can see, the finest hardwoods from the finest trees. Made for your home and within your means, Baird Brothers will help fulfill your dreams. Let life and light come shining through in quiet morns. And heavy traffic, too. Find your easy-to-afford fine hardwood floors and doors and more at BairdBrothers.com.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local, independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
But now you can see every school, to the smallest school, to the intermediate schools, to the schools in the outlying areas. It gives you coverage that you could just never get to before. It's something that's great to experience, and it's opened up a whole new wave of sports viewership. The possibilities are endless here at YSN. Push the envelope every day. Try something new. If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, let's try another angle, and we just keep moving forward. My name is Mike Ackelson, and my sports network is your sports network.
Beautiful way to end that commercial break with Mike Ackelson, who we will be seeing in the YSN office very, very soon. The Audible call starts next Friday at 7 o'clock to watch all the games like your NFL Red Zone type thing, where you get in, you get an update on all the big games and all the ones that are close and tight, and make sure if you are not locked into one game, that you watch the Audible call on Friday nights on YSN. Ty, we've managed to dive into the schedules of the AAC, the NE8 volleyball, the EOAC volleyball, the Buckeye volleyball. Those are the conferences we've hit, right? I didn't miss anything. Oh, the EBC too. So we took care of West Branch and Salem.
Yeah.
So now I want to go into this. I want to go into this MVAC grade tier. We're going to start today. We're going to go into it tomorrow as well. But I want to start with Brookfield. We've already talked about Crestview. We've had Coach Howard on. We've gotten their schedule taken care of. I think the next team you'll look at in this MVAC grade tier, Brookfield, 15 wins last year, and they were the only team last year, only team in over a year, actually, to take even a set away from Crestview in the MVAC. They were the only team that lost 3-1. So they took a set from the Rebels last year. They were a talented team, went to the district championship in Division 4, and they returned this year. And let's look at their schedule, Ty. They start the season on Tuesday, August 23rd, and they will travel to Campbell Memorial to kick off the season. Then they get into their home slate as they host Liberty. They'll host Heartland Christian, host Ursuline, go to Crestview, host LeBray, go to Champion, to Newton Falls, host Garfield, host Campbell. They will go to Liberty, host Crestview, to LeBray, host Champion, and then they will host Newton Falls.
Nice schedule put in front of them. I mean, they already play in a tough conference anyway, but yeah, they came in third last year in the conference, looking to improve on that. Crestview and Garfield obviously were at the tops of it. But it's going to be life without Anna Reichert, too. She was your top kill getter last year. It's going to be just figuring out how to get the kills there. If Shingledecker is coming back for a senior season too. You would figure that a lot of that's going to go on her. 200+ kills from a season ago.
I think there are 2 of them too.
There's another shingle decker. Yeah, I think you're right. There is.
The one is a libero, if I'm not mistaken. The younger one's a libero, and then, like you said, Logan is one of the top attackers on their team.
Logan. I think Logan's the libero, and
Logan's the libero. Sorry,
the 200 kills.
Lauren is the top attacker. Logan is the libero. Flip those.
Look at it too. I believe it's Logan shingle decker too. Let me see. Both of them had a lot of Logan had 150 digs, 200 digs for Lauren too. So it's going to be the show of the shingle deckers, I think, a lot during this upcoming season for Brookfield.
Yeah, and they're on the all-name team because that's fun to say.
I think the biggest thing you're going to be missing though is their setter O'Brien from a year ago. She 584 assists in the course of a season. That's a hefty number for Bailey O'Brien.
They ran that 5-1 with her, and now you might venture into a 6-2 if you have 2 girls that are trying to vie for the center spot, or I don't know, maybe they have someone coming up the ranks that can handle the 5-1 and be the all full rotation center.
Brookfield's going to be a wild card going into this season, I think. With some of the talent they have coming back, I think they're going to be a wild card in that conference.
Like I said, they were the only team last year to take a set from Crestview. The first matchup with Crestview this year comes on August 30th at the Rebels Place, and then they will play Crestview again, of course, at home on the 22nd of September. So 2 matchups with the Rebels inside the conference, of course. Non-conference games with Heartland and Ursuline that are on the slate so far. They might be adding a couple because usually 2 is kind of a low number for non-conference games in a volleyball season. But I see right now just the non-conference games with Heartland and Ursuline back-to-back on August 27th and August 29th.
Those are going to be some big games for them too. I'm excited to see what Brookfield's able to put together this season.
So now we go to Brookfield. Let's go into Garfield. Obviously, they're going to be a team that was right there with Crestview. Their only 2 losses in the league were Crestview. We talked about Montana McGranahan and what she's bringing back to this team. They're bringing back their setter. So they have a lot of pieces returning, and they're just going to be trying to take the crown from Crestview this year because that was the one team that stood in their way.
It really was, and I mean, just be more competitive. I mean, you have Gabby Bernard too, that's also returning, along with Montana McGranahan. Both of those 2 were top kill getters for you a season ago. Bernard with 279, McGranahan with 278. So you got to
figure there, like so close to each other too.
You got to figure Bernard was probably giving it to Montana a little bit. I got one kill on you, but no, bringing that back. Also, I think the big thing too, which you're going to be missing, Jenna Smith, obviously, her blocks 84 a season ago. That's going to be the biggest thing where you're going to just try to fill that hole some way if you're Garfield in that. But you're bringing back Shirky, who had 603 assists. Madeline Shirky from a season ago, 603 assists as a junior. That's going to be huge for Garfield this season.
It's not going to be the only time that we're going to talk about trying to replace Jenna Smith because I think we're going to be talking about it quite a bit.
Basketball season, we'll be talking again
with Coach Gilbert in basketball season. I think we'll be also bringing up how do you replace Jenna Smith. So not only will she be missed in the basketball realm, also going to be missed with the net defense of the volleyball realm. Ty, they opened the season on the road against Cardinal on Saturday, August 20th. For those of you that don't know, Cardinal is a really good team in our district for volleyball. They've taken down a lot of our I think they're actually, they are Division 3. They are a very good volleyball program in Division 3 in our district. They've beaten some of our area teams at district tournaments in the past, and they will be a good team to start off the season with. Then they go into conference play at home against LeBray. They travel to Camel. They travel to Lake Center Christian. They will go return home to Champion, travel to Liberty, go home to Newton Falls, travel to Crestview, home to Berkshire, travel to Brookfield. How about that? Just flip it. Home away, home away, home away. Not a lot of straight home stretches, not a lot of straight road stretches so far in the schedule. A lot of back and forth between on the road and at home.
Yeah, and I mean, it might work out to their benefit too. I mean, just trying something different. Obviously, Garfield, I'm just excited to see how efficient this team is. And I really wish these hit percentages were on these stats, but Gabby Bernard and Montana McGranahan. Montana, 54.8% kill percentage on 278, and Gabby Bernard, 66.9% kill percentage on 279. That is ridiculous numbers in the kill percentage department.
I would imagine with those kind of numbers, their hitting percentage is higher than average, because hitting percentage is basically just taking the errors off your kills and then going over total attacks. So what the kill percentage is how many of your attacks are kills. So it's just kills over attacks. Then hitting percentages, you take away the errors from your kills and you go over attacks.
You got to figure they have to be in the 300s, probably even touching 400s then too. I mean, if someone like Presley Stokes is at 400, her kill percentage is over 50s, that would probably line up then. 66% though, over 2/3 of the time.
That means, well, you could actually probably do the math and still find out her hitting percentage, because all you would have to do is find out what 66% of her total attacks were, and then subtract whatever that is from her total to get her number of errors, then subtract her errors from what you got from her attacks, and then it would be a long algorithm. You'd have to do it for a while. But I think there's a way there's a way with that information to find out what her hitting percentage would be. But back to their schedule. Their first back-to-back road games come from at Brookfield at LeBray on September 13th and 15th. It'll be 2 road games in a row that week. Then they'll return home for Camel, go to Champion, return home for Streetsboro, a pretty good non-conference matchup on Saturday, September 24th. They will have 2 home games in a row for the first time in the season as they host Liberty. Back on the road to Newton Falls, they'll host Crestwood, host Crestview, and then they will end the season on October 12th at Jacksonville.
Nice schedule ahead for them, honestly, overall. And this is going to be fun, I think, going into this season. I just calculated, too, on Bernard's kill percentage. I calculated because they had her errors too. So I just subtract the errors from the kills and divide it by the total attacks. 50.553. Oh. 0.554, actually, if you round out, 0.554 hit percentage.
So how many errors did she have in the season?
48 errors in the whole season.
That's ridiculous. Like a good hitting percentage, if you're trying to judge hitting percentage for a player, is like your high 200s, low 300s. That's above average. Average is probably like in your 250s. So you're skyrocketed, way above. You're stellar if you're hitting at a clip above 55%.
55%, yeah. 55%. That's unbelievable too. I'm gonna do Montana's too real quick because I'm curious.
That's insane. That's so efficient. That's staying away from unforced errors. That's awesome.
And then let me just check this last number, because like these numbers.
So you found her total attacks though, right? Because that number is. You did find her, because kills and errors aren't total attacks. Kills and errors are just attacks that ended up in a kill and error. You can still have a swing that gets dug up.
Yeah, I did. Well, there was kills, there was kills, errors, and then all attacks too. They had all 3 of those numbers. So I plugged all 3 of those in.
Got it.
For Montana, 375.375 too, which is
really way above average. So
she also took more attempts. She took about almost 100 more, I think 90 something more attempts than Bernard last year. Attacks, I should say. 90 more attacks.
Now, so if you can get her a little bit even more efficient,
imagine
if you had 2 hitters that were hitting in the 500s for a hitting percentage.
The thing is, too, Bernard was the junior. She's coming in for her senior year after having that great 55% hitting percentage. Montana was only a sophomore, so she's going to get better. If she's playing JO and she's going into the camps and she's coming in now into her junior season, that's a solid 1-2 punch for Garfield this year.
I am so blown away by that hitting percentage. So good. It might we have to dive into but it might have been the highest hitting percentage in the YSN family.
anytime you can get over 50%, like that's
Presley
ridiculous.
Stokes had a great season. She was in what, the 400s?
Yeah, she was at 417.
So
I think
that's not even touching 55. Ooh.
for a
And you're
junior, man, that's
swinging a
incredible.
lot. Your swings aren't extremely high either. That's just efficiency.
You're doing it. Yeah, she did it in 417 attacks, 279 kills in 417 attacks. Like that kill percentage, like we said, that's a 66%. That's probably one of the most efficient swings. Like not taking the swing if it's not there either. Like that's the biggest thing. Not necessarily going for the kill, just getting it over the net sometimes and resetting for a good swing.
That is so impressive. Non-conference wise this year, they're going to have Crestwood right before Crestview, so don't get confused on
Crests.
that. They're going to have the back-to-back Crests. They'll have Streetsboro at home as well. They'll have, Berkshire at home. And then their only road non-conference games are Lake Center Christian and Cardinal. They will go on the road for both those games. And we talked to Sam Young yesterday, who has to play Lake Center twice this year in the conference. So he knows how good Lake Center is. They're a good competitive volleyball program. So this is a really good non-conference schedule to go along with their already competitive conference slate.
Opening up the season with Middlefield Cardinal, that's a solid volleyball program too. Middlefield Cardinal always has the Huskies always seem to have a solid volleyball program and solid girls sports over there. You mentioned Lake Center Christian. Streetsboro is not a far drive from them. Berkshire, like great names that appear on this schedule, and I think it's all for the benefit of what Garfield is trying to do with their programs, especially girls sports over there too. I mean, they're at some sort of run right now. What we saw from volleyball into basketball, even in softball too, just a lot of great athletes in these sports.
Ty, they also scrimmaged Aurora, and we saw Aurora volleyball.
I was going to say, I think I saw that
volleyball.
too. I saw a schedule with it. That's a great volleyball team too. Yeah.
That's up in D1, in the districts, regional contender for Division I. So that's a great scrimmage.
We've learned about Garfield really quickly from talking with coaches, talking with administrators, and just talking with fans and parents over there. Like, they're not fearful of any division teams. They're not fearful of facing any of those teams. They want to take this program to that next level, and they have tradition, a lot of winning tradition in a lot of these programs. So it's maintaining that, being fearless in the opponents you face. That's what you see from the G-men.
I apologize. We got blown away so much by those stats. We kind of ate away our time to go over another schedule, but we will get back to this in VC.
We got Brookfield, Crestview, and Garfield down, though.
Tomorrow we'll hit Champion, Liberty, Newton Falls, LeBray. We're going to have Camel's coach on next week, so we might lightly hit Camel, but we want to obviously save a lot of his preview and give him his due to kind of go over their schedule as well. But we're going to have the rest of the MVAC grades here, and if we have time, maybe the Scarlets here tomorrow as well. Also on the show tomorrow, we're going to have Aaliyah Diamond, the head coach of the Poland Bulldogs volleyball team, formerly Aaliyah Hughes. And so we're going to have her mom on one day and then Aaliyah on the next day. She'll be talking about Poland volleyball and what to expect from them this season inside that NE8. And then we also have locked in a couple of guests on Monday that we want to get you excited about. Monday the 15th, we're going to have Cheryl Fico from West Branch Girls Soccer at 12. We're going to have Mike Bailey, the head coach of Canfield Boys Soccer, and also Matt Britton, the head coach of Mooney Boys Soccer. So it's going to be a soccer Monday after you get over the weekend.
Yeah, we're excited for it too. We're certainly excited. Soccer kicks off. I mean, football kicks off. Golf's already teed off. Volleyball is getting ready to get into full swing. It's going to be a great fall, another fall on YSN too, and we are certainly excited for it. Fall sports are in the air. I think it's fair to say that everyone, including DJ himself too, we're all in the fall sports mode now that it's a week away.
We want to thank our guests for coming on today. Jonathan Stokes, the head coach of Wellsville Volleyball. Presley Stokes, one of the shining stars of that team, one of the many stars of that team that could very well fight for a state championship this year. We want to thank Chrissy Hughes for coming on, the head coach of the Western Reserve volleyball team. And then, of course, Brian Shaner, the head coach of Mineral Ridge football, for coming on as well. You can keep an eye out for all their interviews on the site on ysnlive.com a little bit later tonight and on our YouTube page. While you're there, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you never miss any of the videos that we put up on our YouTube almost daily. Interview content, any video content that we put up on our site goes right to our YouTube page, whether it be interviews, games, shows, post games, all that stuff all goes on our YouTube. So make sure you hit our notification bell so you never miss a minute of our video content. Casual Sports Podcast is coming up next from 2 to 3. Power Hour will have you hooked up from 3 to 4. And then we'll be back tomorrow after our 22-hour break from 12 to 2 on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Thank you so much